If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, joining me right now, back in the Octagon, March 9th, as the UFC heads to Wichita, Kansas, going to take on Alex Morono in the welterweight division. And this is the first time Zak Ottow gets to see my face during an interview. How about that? Zak, how are you, man?
Yeah, good. Usually we're talking on the phone, so this is a different one. It's good.
Yeah, I usually see you, but you can never see me. But we've changed that here since I moved to the other part of the state. But this is exciting, man. You fight Alex Morono. You call your shot after your last fight, the win over Dwight Grant. You called for Alex, and you got him. That has to feel good, right? I mean, it's perfect matchmaking, in my opinion, and it all worked out for you.
Yeah, hey, that's all about the manager there. You know, Jason House with Iridium, they were able to get the job done. So very thankful for that. Yeah, I called it. Now just, careful what you wish for, right? So I got to go out there and perform. It does help, too, that, he's kind of been calling me out. We've been going back and forth for a little bit. So I think it was an easy one for the matchmakers to make. It makes sense on paper. So here we go. 3 more weeks, and we can find out who the winner is.
So let's talk about that night in Milwaukee. You wanted so badly to get on that card and, walk out to the Octagon in front of your friends and family, hometown fight. And, the situation of taking that fight on short notice wasn't necessarily ideal, but it was something that you had mentally prepared for heading into it. What was that walk to the cage like? Did it live up to the expectations you'd kind of set for it?
Yeah, it did. It totally exceeded them. When they announced my name when I was in there, it was a pretty loud cheer, and I kind of looked at my cornerman and just kind of took in the whole movement. It was everything I hoped it'd be plus more. But yeah, the matchup was definitely a very tough matchup. With Eric pulling out, that left me fighting Dwight Grant, and pretty highly touted prospect coming off a contender series. Kind of an awkward striker with lots of length and lots of power. So there was a lot of stuff for me to worry about there and make sure I wasn't going to get hit cleanly with one of those shots. And he's much more of a counter striker. So I was trying to feint a lot and draw that counter strike out of him so that then I could counter him. And it just kind of made for a little bit of a slower fight. So, I mean, I wish I could have put on a better performance, but I had to fight that way to get the win. And it was a close one, but I did get that. And then now I'm in a position to, have this fight here against Alex Morono that I've been wanting for a long time.
Even though some of the fans didn't think it was like the most aesthetically pleasing fight, like you said, there's a game plan, there was an approach you had to the fight. So going back and watching it, like, how would you rate your performance in that fight, all things considered, especially on the short notice as you got back into the win column?
Yeah, with it being on short notice, I knew that there was potential for a fight that could happen. So, you're working out, you're training more and stuff, but as far as like all the hard sparring rounds and stuff like that help you to get ready for competition, I wasn't really quite doing up until, it was right there in front of me. And so some of the awkwardness of his punches coming at from angles that I'm not used to seeing against somebody that's a little bit more traditionally trained, and just being not sparring hard as much as I normally do getting ready for a fight. Some of those punches were kind of coming at me from weird angles and stuff. So I just, getting better at my defense, striking, seeing those shots coming better, staying in the pocket longer and returning strikes and that kind of thing. Besides that, I knew what that fight was kind of going to be like. I remember telling my dad, always asked me, so what's the deal with this guy? What do you think this fight's going to be like? And I was like, it might be kind of boring because you got to slow the fight way down.
So let's talk about Alex. I agree. I think the fight between you and Alex has fireworks written all over it. He came into the UFC in a big way, had a big win over Kyle Noak. A lot of people thought that was a huge upset. Happened at the beginning of 2016. He actually got a lot of people fired up, and from then he's been kind of up and down. He's a very tough guy. He's good on the ground. He's got hands. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up. He's got finishing ability. So stylistically, we see fireworks here, but in terms of what you're going to bring to the cage compared to him, how do you like the matchup with Alex?
I really do like it because I feel like the fight could go a lot of places. Like you mentioned, he's pretty well-rounded, but I feel like I'm well-rounded too, and I'm just better in each of those areas. So I feel like there's just more avenues for me to win the fight. I don't think he's got the power to put me down. But if he wants to sit there and chuck down, like, that'll be fun. So, he puts out some more volume, and he's offensive at times. He counters at other times. We can go in there and just kind of really open up. We're both going to be throwing punches and kicks at each other. I think a lot more exciting matchup than the last guy I fought.
Is this like one of the more quasi like respectful call-outs between the two of you guys? Because you don't sound like a guy that's gonna like talk trash about anybody, and Alex doesn't really sound like that either. And I'm not really sure how it all began. How he, like you said, he called you out first, and then it just kind of lined up here. So there's no real bad blood here. It's just two competitive guys who want to get in a fight. Or did he say anything specifically about you?
Well, that was who first? I can't remember. It's been so long that we've been lying about it. But he has called me out as well, is what I was saying. And I've been calling him out. I don't think there's any bad blood. I'm not sure. Nothing personal. I just want a damn good fight. Like, give me somebody. I don't want to call out some bottom of the roster guy. But I think I can win, and I think it'll be exciting. And those are the kind of fights I want. I don't want that guy that is going to hang back and throw super low volume like the last guy. I want somebody that's going to give me something back and something to work with. And then also that win that can move me up the ladder and continue to progress my career here. So nothing personal from my standpoint. Don't even know the guy. And I don't even listen to his interviews. I don't read into predictions or anything like that. Most of the time people are completely wrong. So all these armchair quarterbacks, and stuff like that. I don't read comments. I don't give a hell whatever he's got to say about me. I really don't care. We're all going to settle it on March 9th. So, and we got 15 minutes to do it, and that's the only 15 minutes that matters. And so,
well said. I mean, like you said, every fight's important. A win here, it's going to get you off and running, man. Back-to-back wins in this welterweight division. Confidence continues to rise the more and more you get in there. Do you look at it? Yeah, 3 out of 4. I mean, do you look at it that way? Like, let's string some wins together. I mean, I know the Sage fight didn't go your way, but, this makes it 2 straight, 3 out of 4. Off to the races you go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. 3 out of 4. I thought, man, that Sage fight was a great opportunity. There were some other factors that play there, but that one kind of slipped away on me. And I really want to just keep this streak going here. I want to get on a roll. I want to get on a win streak. 3 out of 4. Going to my 3rd contract. All right. Now that the pay is getting better and better, like, let's fight some tough guys. I'm 32 years old. I've been at this for a little while, but I still feel like I'm right in the prime of my physical life. And I want to see what my full potential is. So, I've got my feet wet in the UFC now. I've got more than an hour of octagon time, and it's time for, me to keep moving up that ladder. So,
like we've talked about a couple different times, this is perfect matchmaking. It has the makings to be a very fun fight. Alex can adapt to different situations. He's willing to lay it on the line, as are you, and I'm sure you studied him a bunch. You've seen his tendencies. How does this thing go down on March 9th?
I can see myself just finishing the fight. I'm not sure how it happens, and I don't know when it happens, but I'm looking for the finish on this one. I know he's looking for a big finish as well, so tune in, fans.
Could we see maybe an extra 50 G's in your pocket? Maybe 100 G's?
That would be great. That would be great. I kind of feel like it's that bonus is like trying to hit a home run. If you swing the bat too hard, you go for it too much, then it kind of slips out of your fingers. So you can't force a finish. You just kind of got to, let it come to you. And on the regional level, I was I was finishing everybody, I finished like 12 out of my 13 wins inside of 2 rounds. So I thought, man, once I got here, I'm going to be a bonus king, and it hasn't happened yet. So I really want one of those.
That'd be cool. That would definitely be cool. I mean, that's some good money. You could do some fun stuff with that money. So, kind of switching gears here. The last time we spoke, we dove into your organization, Pure FC, and we saw the photos on social media of you getting things together in order last minute for the event in January. And I was looking on Tapology. I don't know if this is true or not, but the next Pure FC event is on March 9th. And has this happened before where your organization hold events the same night you have a fight booked for the UFC?
Has not happened before, but we did plan ahead for this. So the state commissioner stopped working in that position, and he partnered up with Jake and myself. Jake Lipway owned the gym owned Pure FC with. He's in my corner every fight. He partnered up with us to help us expand Pure Fighting Championships, at least across the state of Wisconsin for now. Possibly the Midwest in the future. We wanted to get out of just being in Milwaukee and go across the state. We've been doing that now with Adam on board. It was actually the night of our last event that my fight came in. So I'm running the event, coaching at the event. The event gets done, and we're like in, decompress mode, and then the phone goes off, and I get my next fight. And it's like, hey, we got a fight for you. Guess what? It's Alex Morono. We're like, oh, yes. Like, oh, all right. When is it? March 9th. Fuck. March 9th, we had already had this next event booked. But, this is what we planned for. So obviously we're still doing all the prep work to get this event ready, the matchmaking, and make sure that the event is all set up and everything. But just Adam will be up there as the promoter that weekend, running that Stevens Point show. And then Jake and I will be down in Kansas for this fight. So it all worked out. It was, what we planned for, and we're set for it.
So it must be really comforting for you knowing that you have a fight to prepare for. That's so crazy that this all comes full circle, that the fight was booked after your last, immediately after your last event. Your next event is coming up when the fight is actually booked. That's hilarious. But it must be very comforting for you to know that, you could prepare for this fight. You could head to Wichita, get ready, do your thing in the octagon, and you still have a great team behind you taking care of everything for Pure FC, right?
And I like all these different, moving parts and stuff. It all has to do with the sport of MMA, which is my passion. And, when you're sitting there fight week, what else are you going to do, besides watch TV and think about how hungry you are? We'll check in and see, how the setup is going and stuff like that. And then on Saturday, I'll be focused on my fight, but I'm sure all that downtime that you have when you're sitting in the locker room before you fight, which seems like forever, I'm sure Jake will be checking his phone and, keeping tabs on the event and stuff through Adam. And, it's just what we do. So
that's awesome, man. Well, man, excited to see you back in there March 9th. UFC heading to Wichita, Kansas, taking on Alex Morono. Event will be headlined by Derek Lewis versus Junior Dos Santos. Big heavyweight matchup on ESPN+. Zach, thank you for the time as always, man. Before we get out of here, you know the drill. Let the folks know where to find and follow you on social media. Shout out sponsors. Anything else you want to get off your chest? The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah. Sponsors, thank you to Miss Mary Jane CBD. Helping keep me healthy and stuff while I'm training hard for this fight. And then also Combat Corner. So that's where I get all my gear and apparel and stuff like that. If you're in the sport of mixed martial arts, got to get your gear through Combat Corner. It's the best. And then follow me on social media. Instagram, just under my name, Zak Ottow. Please follow me there on Instagram. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Al, always a pleasure, man. And all the best to you March 9th. Great chat with you as always.
Yeah, you too, man.